Hey, what is happening? Thanks for joining me. Man, do I have something cool to talk about today? I have decided to do some work on some of the infrastructure for websites, and this is coming up for various reasons, but I've been doing some paid advertising for affiliate marketing. And one of the things that is like super key important in paid advertising, especially, we know it's important in search engine optimization and stuff like that too, but is the speed of your website, right? And so let me just confess right now that I've been using HostGator since like the beginning, since like 2010 maybe. So it's 2020 right now. I've got right now like 30 websites over there. I've always had a reseller account because I do some offline stuff. So I manage client websites and they're on that reseller account. It just makes it easy, right? You can basically separate each one. It's kind of like shared hosting, but then again, it gives you a lot more ways to organize things and keep things separate and different and easy to bill and stuff like that for clients. Anyway, no need to get off on a tangent there. I've been stuck on HostGator. I've especially when they had that whole thing where they got really slow there for a few years, I almost changed. I looked at a cloud server on DreamHost and ended up, after a lot of testing, feeling like I just wasted a lot of time because I didn't feel like, even though DreamHost, I was paying for something really expensive and it was supposed to be really fast, it sucked and it really wasn't any faster than HostGator. And so I was like, this is stupid. I'm just going to stay put. And you know what? It's worked fine. But now that I've been doing some paid advertising and really looking at like click tracking and opens and like, seeing the stats and stuff up close with tons of traffic, I kind of decided that it might be time for a change. Like this might be a good time. And somebody introduced me to a guy, Dustin. He introduced me to a hosting company called Cloudways. So I just thought I'd check them out. And basically what Cloudways does is they make it so that you can, you basically get to use servers like Amazon AWS, web services like Google Cloud, Vultr, Linode, DigitalOcean, like some really high-end server stores who usually serve sort of massive clients, right? Like massive businesses that are dealing with millions of visits a day and stuff like that for their websites. Well, you get to leverage that same sort of infrastructure through Cloudways. Like basically, Cloudways just sort of takes away the step of setting up your hosting and everything on something like Amazon AWS, which if you've ever tried, is a real pain in the ass. And I have tried. And I'm a fairly technical person, and I felt like this is ridiculous. And the pricing wasn't that great either, so I was like, this is kind of a lot of work. I'm not like a server guy, I can set this stuff up, but, generally speaking, I don't want to spend a ton of time on server stuff. I want to just sort of, click and go. So anyway, that's kind of what Cloudways gives you, is they give you the back-end infrastructure that's amazing, but then they kind of take away all the pain and make it so that it's really easy to sort of set up and deploy websites. So, and they're super affordable. So I'm literally, I think, going to be saving about $8 a month for my hosting now for all of my websites. And, it's super fast. So, the one thing I will say, the one drawback that I have, so I'm going to show you how fast it is here in just a second. And I'm going to, in a separate video, I'll kind of show you how I set things up because I don't want to get this one going too long, but I just kind of wanted to let you know about it. And I'm going to put a link to Cloudways down below. It's an affiliate link, like basically, you kind of get like perks for referring people. And so, but I'll tell you what, I signed up. I'm a firm believer after this. I'm just kind of working through the steps and getting everything going. But we're looking at one of my affiliate sites right now, How to Live a Healthy Life. I've had this for, I don't know, a long time. And this traditionally has been one of my slow sites, partly because I started building it a long time ago in WordPress, back when I really wasn't optimizing images and, stuff like that. So this one's always been a dog, and I've had a ton of plugins inside, and everything is wrong with this site. And traditionally I wasn't sending paid traffic to it, so it didn't matter quite as much. But here we are now in 2020, and I'm using this site. So anyway, I wanted to. So let's just look. Let's click around here. So of course they do a ton of caching and stuff, right? So things are going to be cached. I mean, I'm kind of looking at a cache site here. If I hit F5 and reload this page, you don't even notice. But that's supposed to, sort of do a full reload of the site. I went over here to GT metrics to, this is where I always check page speeds on my sites. And this is the score that I just ran for the new site, which is awesome. And the only reason I ended up with a page speed score of 88% a B instead of an A is because of some images. And honestly, I probably won't waste the time to go and optimize, the list of images here. There's probably more, because altogether, even though they give me an F on this, which I think is a little funny, altogether I could sort of optimize by 7%, which, okay, probably not worth my time. Maybe it is. Maybe I should do it. I don't know. But I'm not going to right away. But you can see as I go through the rest here, all A's, right? So that's pretty freaking incredible for WordPress without, I'm not using, which I do on some of my other sites, I'm not using WP Rocket, which is the caching plugin that I usually, the premium WP Rocket. I'm not even using that on this site. So Cloudways does install their own caching plugin. So, that is in there. But I just wanted to show this to you. Man, I'm impressed. And so, if this is something if you've been messing around and you've been stuck on a host for a long time, kind of like I was, I'll tell you what, these guys kind of make it easy. And in my next video, which I'll link to down below, I'll show you how they make it super easy to migrate the sites, because that was another pain in the ass with DreamHost when I tried them. I'm not trying to knock them, so I mean, I had a bad experience. I'm sure there's tons of people who are happy with them. I was using HostGator, so I can't talk about one host being better than another or me making great choices. So, there's that. But one of the problems was either you had to kind of do everything by FTP and deal with it that way when I was migrating sites in DreamHost, or I had to use duplicator plugin for WordPress. I mostly do WordPress sites. I do a few HTML pages and stuff like that, but Duplicator and Duplicator Pro are the two plugins you kind of need for moving sites usually, but Cloudways has their own plugin, and they literally, you install this thing, enter your server details inside the plugin, inside the site you're ready to migrate, and it just does it. It moves it for you. I've honestly never seen anything like it. So it was impressive. So there you go. If you're kind of looking around for a host, I would definitely consider Cloudways, and check out my next video, which is going to kind of show you around inside and just talk a little bit more about the setup process and stuff like that. Hey, thanks so much for joining me. If this was helpful to you, would you mind just powing that thumbs up for me? And maybe subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'd love to have you. So check you in the next video. All right.